Welcome to Hare Krishna Valley. Is anyone here for the first time?
Oh.
Okay, 99% of the audience. Very good. Thank you all for coming. Nice to see you. Hare Krishna Valley is a retreat centre, organic farm and a Care for Cows project. And we've been running this here for over 30 years. And I've been living here for about 12 years, managing the project. When we got here, this was a school. We've got a kids' room in the back also, so if the kids want to play, they can hear. You can still hear everything that we're saying as well. So, around about 12 years ago, I got here, and then we started running this place as a retreat centre. Formerly, it was a school. So we had a school here, and these were actually classrooms, which we're in right now. And then we renovated it, and we changed it more into like a retreat centre kind of style. So we run regular retreats here now on a regular basis. And people come here to associate with us and learn more about the spiritual way of life that we practice here. We run retreats. We also run an organic farm. We grow our own herbs. And simultaneously, we look after cows. So it's one of the only places in Australia where the animals live here their whole lives. They're born here and they die here. And there's no fear of persecution or death like that. So it's a special place. It's called an ahimsa dairy. Ahimsa means non-violent place. So we've been living here for a number of years, and we have these open days once a month to let the public come in and to understand what we do. People can come here anytime, but especially once a month we like to bring everyone in, and then you can see what we do. So today is Mother's Day, a very special day on the calendar. Like that. Does anyone know the meaning of Mother's Day? Why do we celebrate Mother's Day?
Sell cards.
What's that?
To sell cards.
Sell cards, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons why Mother's Day is there. Any other reason why we have Mother's Day? Yeah.
To celebrate mothers.
To celebrate mothers, very good. Very good. Yeah. Does anyone know the original reason why Mother's Day started? Originally, Mother's Day, apparently, from what I've heard, it's coming from the Christian tradition. And they consider God to be the Father, and the temple or the church to be like the mother, or the place where we all come to congregate. So Mother's Day was a day where you would go to the temple or the church or wherever it is, and you would help to maintain, like have a working bee kind of thing for the temple or the church. And then I think over time then that became a little obscured, and now we have what we have now, which is Mother's Day, which is a great day to make a lot of money for people in the businesses all around the world. If you sell flowers or cards or something like that, you can make a lot of money. Myers, for example, the retail industry makes a lot of money. Probably something very similar to Christmas. Christmas was once a spiritual event. Now it's become more of a commercial event for most people. So I think Mother's Day is also morphed into a commercial event. But originally, apparently, what I've heard is that it was a time to look after the place where everyone would come together for their spirituality. So when we finish the feast today, you can all help us in a working bee, and we'll... Not really, but if you want to, we've got things to do. We can work out some things to do. So, in our culture, we celebrate 7 mothers. Our culture is based on the ancient teachings of India, based on the Vedas. The Vedas means the ancient Sanskrit teachings from India. And in the ancient Sanskrit teachings, there are 7 mothers. Does anyone know the 7 mothers? According to the... Or you can guess if you don't know. Yeah.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth, very good. This is an enlightened soul. Yeah, Mother Earth, very good. The Earth is one of our 7 mothers, according to the ancient teachings. Okay? Yes, sir.
Cow.
The cow, very good. This kid is on fire. You can get a free dessert today. So yeah, the cow. The cow is also one of the 7 mothers, according to the ancient teachings.
The nurse.
The nurse, very good. Yeah, specifically it says wet nurse, datri. Datri means, in the ancient cultures, we don't do it so much these days, but in palaces where the king would live with the family and so forth, they would also have wet nurses, which means if the mother was unable to give her milk for some reason, then there would be another person there, a wet nurse. In the aristocratic families, this was the system. So she could feed the baby simultaneously. So she's also considered one of the 7 mothers. And then?
The wife of the king or leader.
Very good, the wife of the king or the leader. So in this country, who is our king? What was his name?
Morrison.
Scott Morrison, yeah. So Scott Morrison's wife is our mother. If you're watching today, Scott, we'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to your wife, our queen. All blessings to your queen. No, that's not. So the wife of the king, she was the mother of the... Cause it was different back then. In the ancient days, the king was actually someone people liked. They did. They actually they loved the king, generally. Over history, things degraded, but originally the kings were very pure. They're called Rajashis, which means saintly people, saintly rulers, and they would look after the subjects like their children. So the wife of the king was considered like that. She was the queen. She was like the mother of society. And people, even these days, like last year, they got married. Harry and Meghan, right? They got married. It was 7 billion people on Earth. I think at least 1 billion people watched that. At least 1 billion. I think it might have been more actually. Could have been up to 3 billion or something. So people are still interested in the concept. People say, it's outdated and everything. No, everyone's still into it. We just don't have good kings and queens now. That's the problem. Now they're more like hippies. They're just, not really doing a lot. Just going there, turn up at events and cut ribbons and things like that. Even they don't like it. They don't particularly like the way it was. But previously, they actually protected and they inspired and they set the example for the entire kingdom. So they were adored, actually. So the queen was considered one of the 7 mothers. Okay, so we got the cow, we got the earth, we got the wife of the king, and then?
Birth mother?
Your birth mother, your biological mother. Yeah, she's one of the 7 mothers also. So that's, today we say Mother's Day, we refer to the biological mother, but there's another 6 which are involved. So we got 4.
The spiritual teacher.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, the wife of the guru. In the ancient teachings, we had gurus. So the wife of the guru was also considered to be one of the 7 mothers. Hands up if you have a guru. 1 person. Okay, like that. In the ancient days, everyone had a guru. Just like, hands up if you have a football team. Okay, hands up if you have some sort of team, or hands up if you identify with something in this world. We all do, right? We have something. You'll meet someone and they'll say, like sometimes people meet and they'll say, who do you barrack for? Like that defines you, like you're a Collingwood supporter, like that's who you are, you put like, black and white marks on your forehead and, so people will, they'll identify with a particular thing. So in the ancient days, we very much identify with our gurus. You were in culture or in society, people would know you're studying under that particular guru. And actually it's very important to have gurus. It's kind of been taken out of modern society, and we could say that's a lot of the problem with modern society, because modern society has a lot of problems. Is that a reasonable statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I knew everyone was going to say yes anyway. But if you look at the world, like usually sometimes I speak in schools. I spoke in a Christian college down in Geelong a couple of years ago, and I actually said to the kids, they're all in year 9, and I said, hands up who is positive or enthusiastic about the way the world is going, or the future of the world. No one put their hand up. That is ridiculous. What sort of a society do we have? The kids aren't even enthusiastic about the future. What is that? That's insanity. That's madness. That's not society. That's just a failed. I don't even know what that is. It's a disaster, actually. So previously, and that's one of the reasons why we have these problems, because we don't have gurus within society. Everyone needs guru. You need mentors. You need people who are on the spiritual path, who are enlightened, and they can teach you the true direction to go in. Right? And that will solve the world's problems. You know, the world has some serious problems. We could, solve those problems very, very quickly. Just like the next election. Next weekend we have a federal election, so we're going to have a new king and queen. Or maybe the current king and queen will continue in their reign, but more than likely we're going to have a new king and queen. And some of the parties are saying this is the climate change election. Some of the parties are saying that. Some of the other parties just say no, it's just an economic election, which is what they focus on. But actually, realistically speaking, it is a climate change election. Whether they like to admit that or not, that is the issue at this point in time. The earth is one of the 7 mothers. She is being disrespected. She needs to be looked after. And we can change it. If we had gurus, we could fix these things up in a few days, actually. But because we don't have people who are actually enlightened and actually see things the right way, then we have all these policies which are unstable, and they're creating an unstable environment within society. So the wife of the guru is also considered one of the 7 mothers in the traditional system. Okay, so I think we got 6, right? We got our biological mother, the cow, the earth, the wife of the guru, the wife of the king, the nurse, the wet nurse, and then there's one more. Anyone know who the last one is? Actually, it's called Brahmana Patni in Sanskrit, in the ancient teachings. Brahmana Patni means the wife of the holy person, the saintly person, the guides, the spiritualists. Their wives are also considered bhagavad. It's very similar to the guru, the wife of the guru or the wife of the brahmana. They're considered to be our guides. So we offer respect to them as mothers. So these are the 7 mothers. So one of the mothers is the cows. So why are the cows considered mothers? Why would we consider the cows to be the mothers? What's that?
Milk, food source.
Yeah, they do. They give milk. Like, when we're born, the one food that we live on is milk. That's the only food which we live on in the beginning of our lives. And then, when we grow up, traditionally, we would continue to take milk from the cow. Right? And milk is said to be the most beneficial food for our health. It nourishes the brain, according to the ancient teachings of India. It nourishes the brain more powerfully than any other food. It's considered to be the most potent and valuable food source that we have. So the cow is considered our mother because she gives us that food source. So after our feast, we'll have lunch today. And after lunch, after the feast, we will go and visit our cows. Anyone who would like to come and visit the cows. As we said, this is one of the only places in Australia where the cows are born and they die and they have no fear of death, because we don't kill them. That's our policy. Right? They're born here, they die here. They're part of our family. They all have names, they all have personalities. They live here in a 5-star resort, right? And they are part of our family. And this is unique. And actually, like we're having the election next weekend, one of the parties is called, it's probably the party I would vote for if I were to vote, is called the Animal Liberation Party, which I think would be the party which is closest to the ideal. Not all their policies are perfect, but many of them are. And they're running on the platform that we should stop killing animals. Because we kill so many animals in society, what takes place? We get huge karma coming back onto human beings in society. People wonder why there's so many problems on the earth. Right? Why do we have wars? Why do we have famines? Why is it that 1 in 8 people go to bed every night hungry on this planet? Right? Because we are killing animals. And you cannot commit violence as a society to the dependent species and expect humans just to live peacefully and happily. It doesn't work. That's not the ancient teachings. And once again, because we don't have gurus, all these things are lost. Right? Anyone just eats meat and goes to McDonald's and think that KFC. No, this is destroying the planet. So if we were having an actual election next week, that should be the number one issue on the election. Maybe I'll run for Prime Minister next week. And I'll say, okay, we're going to fix it all up. We're closing all the abattoirs. We're closing so many things we could fix up. No more smoking. We're abolishing cigarettes. All these things. We could really fix up a lot of things very quickly overnight. But I probably only get about 20 votes. I get more actually, because the whole Hare Krishna movement would. So we get thousands. And the Buddhists will probably vote for us as well, so then we get a lot more from them as well. And then, actually, we probably get a lot of votes. Is it too late to run?
Next 4 years.
Oh, the one after.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but that's the point. The point is that we can solve these problems if we understand how to look after the earth properly. So today is Mother's Day, so we'd like to offer respect to all 7 mothers. And this is the way that society will become enlightened, if we look after all of the mothers. So any questions on anything we've discussed? Usually people like to ask a little bit. If you want to know more about the way we live, what we do, what we believe, answers to life, the universe and everything, then we are the people who deal in that category. So if you have any questions anyone would like to ask them. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, madam.
Do you have a guru, and how often do you see them?
Yeah. Everyone in the Hare Krishna movement has a guru. The Hare Krishna movement was brought to the West, from India to America in 1965 by Swami Prabhupada, who's on the altar there. He's on the seat of honor. We call it the Vyasa-san. So you might have seen him before on the back of all the Hare Krishna books and everything. He's the one who brought all the books, translated everything from Sanskrit, the ancient teachings, and brought it into the West. So he's considered the guru for everyone in the Hare Krishna movement. He left this world in 1977. He's not physically present on the earth. But he is considered what we call the Shiksha Guru, or the guiding guru, or the person who gives us teachings. So he's the guru for all of us. And then his followers, they became the next group of teachers. He said when he left, he said, no one person should take over my position. Because he said no one person is qualified. So he said many of you can do it together. So at this point in time we have about 150 gurus in our society. And they travel around the world constantly and teach and give enlightening teachings. So my personal guru, he also left the world around about 15 years ago. So he's not physically present. So he was my main teacher, the one who initiated me into the tradition. But we always have more than one guru, and we have several gurus. And if one leaves, then we always have the opportunity to take guidance from those who remain. So I have a number of gurus, probably 3 or 4, who are my instructors. So if I need to have advice on what to do with my spiritual progress, then I can approach them and I can get the guidance. It's expected, I've been practicing now for about 30 years, so it's expected after you've been practicing for some time, you should work most of it out. So I don't have to approach my gurus often to get guidance on where to go. It's like if your children are 30 years old, you don't expect them to be coming home too often saying, oh, what should I do, like that, The guidance should become less and less over time. We expect that when someone's an adult, they have the knowledge and the wisdom to live their lives properly. So, I have gurus. We all have gurus within the movement. Very beneficial to have a guru, or gurus. Very beneficial. And it's a problem these days because people don't, have guides, have gurus, and it's a problem. People don't know what to do or where to go. And it's interesting because in the health and wellness industry, it's becoming a massive industry. It's $350 million a day is spent around the world on health and wellness. Right? And so many mentors and life coaches and all these things, they're probably, because basically that's like the modern version of the guru. So one would hope that your life coach or whoever, if you have someone, you would hope that they have the wisdom to guide you properly and authentically. Because some of the things that we hear these days are not in alignment with the ancient teachings or the gurus of the past. So it's important that these things are. Very nice question. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, madam.
I'll do it again.
Yeah, keep going.
So, in the Christian you have the Bible. Do you have numbers of books, or is there that one that gentleman who did the Western Society, did he actually write it all down and that's what you totally follow as a group?
Yeah, we have a number of books. The Bhagavad Gita is considered the primary book, or the just trying to think, what's the word? It's like the basis of the philosophy. 700 verses, which are there, and in India that's like the Bible. In the Hindu tradition, that's like the Bible. So that's our main source of guidance or knowledge. But then there are more elaborate books. So then there's the Bhāgavatam. The Bhāgavatam is more elaborate. That's on the second shelf of the bookshelf back there. The Bhāgavatam is 18 volumes. So there's 18,000 verses, whereas the Bhagavad Gita is just 700. It's just a beginning kind of text. And then the Bhāgavatam is a more elaborate study. That's 18,000 verses. And then we have more, I suppose you'd say, advanced literatures also. So it's voluminous. There's a lot to study. Because we're talking about the nature of life, the universe, everything, God, Krishna, like the entire creation, I suppose. So it's a voluminous subject matter. It's not something that can be covered very simplistically or in a very small amount of time. So in our teachings there's a lot of literature to cover. In some of the other traditions of the earth it's much more, a much smaller amount. So it just depends on the tradition. Very good. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Why do you need a guru?
Why do you need a guru?
I answered that.
Yeah, I already answered it, but it's a good question though. Okay, why do you need a teacher at school?
To learn?
Exactly, to learn. So why do we need a guru? Same thing, yeah, same thing. A guru is just another name for teacher, that's all. Except a guru, traditionally, would concentrate on spiritual knowledge. Whereas at school, your teacher may not concentrate entirely on spiritual knowledge. They'll teach you maths and science and PE and history and geography and all those things. Those things, we need to know those things, but there's more to life than just that. And when I went to school, I felt like about 90% of what I was taught was not going to be extremely relevant for the rest of my life. Does anyone else have that similar experience? So most of the adults are saying the same thing. So it's like, once again, what are we doing in society? Why do we send everyone to a school where 90% of what we learn, you kind of, I remember sitting there in year 10, 11, 12, thinking, am I ever going to use this ever again? Like, trigonometry. Pythagoras. We need people in society who understand those things because they're important, but I'm never going to use them. I'll never use them once. Like if you asked me to do trigonometry right now, honestly I could not do it. I'd get like through and stuff like, I just go to money, I'd say, how does this work? I don't remember how to do it. So I knew when I was learning that, I was never going to use that again. So once again, we have a education system which isn't really working, and certainly not teaching us higher things, just teaching us, simplistic things. And then we have a political system which isn't working. We have an economic system which is not working as it should. There's 1 in 8 people are hungry every day on the planet. That's not working. That's not a good economic system. We have a environmental system, an ecosystem which is not working. It's a great world we live in. So we've got an entire system at the moment which is not working. That is once again because we don't have higher teachings. This should be in school as well. When we're going through school, we should be learning the higher principles as well, not just the, algebra and trigonometry and pi and all these things, all these wonderful things that not all of us need. Like that. So it needs to be both things. So that's why we have a guru. That is why we have a teacher. And guru, do you know what the word means? Guru, literally, in Sanskrit. The word guru means heavy. If something is heavy, we say guru. So guru means when someone has a lot of knowledge, we call that person a guru, because they are heavy, just like when a tree has a lot of fruit. We say that's guru, that is heavy. So that's what it means to be a guru. It means you have to have knowledge. You have to know what you're talking about. So don't call yourself a guru unless you know what you're talking about. No, because it's an important point, because in this day and age, 2019, many people publicize themselves as gurus and they don't really know what they're talking about. It's a thing. I've seen many people, they have thousands of followers on these people. But when you analyze their teachings, it's not actually pure knowledge. So you're...
Yeah, so about the education system, right? The alternate education system. You said this facility was a school and now it is a retreat center. Was the intention to actually stand up an alternate education system which is more practical and realistic to be self rather than...
Yeah, that was our curriculum. What happened is the school here, about 20 years ago, the government was merging small schools in the rural areas of the country. And because one particular year we didn't have the correct student-teacher ratio, the school was closed by the government because of the situation. And everyone moved to our other school, which is near Byron Bay in northern New South Wales, up near Queensland. And we have another Hare Krishna farm there. And we have a school which has been running there for about 40 years. And we have about 70, 80 students in the school. So that school's still going. Near Byron Bay, it's called Mawullumba. So it's up near northern New South, about an hour and a half south of Brisbane, near the Gold Coast. Yeah, so we have an 800-acre farm there. And this farm is only 200 acres, it's a smaller farm. And we have a bigger community and they have kids in the school and everything like that. So the idea is to have more of those schools all over Australia, all over the world, because we have both things. Like that's a government school, that's a state school. And it's interesting because in the NAPLAN test that they did recently, our school is in the top 1% in the state. So educationally it's there, because the kids are very clear. Because it's like a spiritual school, so it's like. But part of the school is learning about Krishna, about God, about higher things, about the soul, about spiritual knowledge, karma, reincarnation. That's part of the curriculum. The Bhagavad Gita is part of the curriculum. But then you learn all the good stuff as well, like algebra and pi and trigonometry.
Is there any plan in place to kind of open more schools in the city side, let's say Melbourne?
Yeah, they're talking about it. They're talking about doing it in Melbourne. It's not so simple though. Not so simple, especially in 2019. We've been looking at it the last few years. The price of land itself, it'd be millions of dollars at the moment. We're looking in the western suburbs, kind of out. There's 50,000 Indian people living in the western side of Melbourne now, right? So, if we open a Hare Krishna school, a Vedic school, just the Indians alone would just flood in. And we've been looking at it, but the land alone is several $1 million at this point in time. So to get the whole thing up and running, we opened a school in London recently. Not recently, about 10 years ago or so. And we got a donation from the Queen of England. She gave $13 million, pounds, to open the school. So that's handy. So we wrote her a letter and said, what about Australia? And she hasn't got back to us yet.
Someone needs to talk to the mother of Australia, Scott Morrison's wife.
Yeah, I sent her a text earlier, but they haven't got back. What's the number of Parliament House?
I'll message you later.
Yeah, please. See, can you WhatsApp me? So we're working on it. We actually, some grants have been considered. We got the state government in Victoria, not this one, the one before, when, what was his name? No, it wasn't him, it was when the guy from Winchelsea was in power. The one back. Who was the Premier? Two back? I can't remember. He's from Winchelsea. I just can't remember his name. But anyway, when he was in power, he gave us $500,000 as a grant for our kitchen in our temple in Melbourne. So when we said we wanted to build a school, they were interested. They said they would give us good money, but it hasn't happened this year. If you'd like to fundraise, just let us know. Yeah. Just get some pies. Any other questions? Anyone else?
What schools that are kind of available would kind of sort of Hare Krishna be most aligned with you guys? Say if you had, your kids, if you didn't have an option to send them to Hare Krishna school, what school would you send them to? If money wasn't an option as well. Money wasn't a worry, sorry.
Yeah. There's different education systems which are quite good. The Steiner school is good. Their education system is quite good. Montessori, there's different things. Even so, like our daughter goes to Lawn High School, and there's many good features in that school. Some of the way they run that school and many of the programs and the teachers and the ethics. So you just got to look individually across the board. Obviously, not everything is perfect everywhere, but you have to do the best you can with what is available. So just look around and see what is there. Any other questions?
Just a comment to that, there's also some Hare Krishnas that do send their children to Catholic schools and Christian schools as well, just so there's some God consciousness in the curriculum, but there of course we have some conflicting beliefs as well, which can be a bit challenging for the school more so than the child, because we believe that animals have souls and reincarnation and things like that, but they still do put them into those schools just to have some kind of God consciousness in their curriculum. So it's a personal choice, but different Hare Krishnas are using different forms, different schools. That's just what they choose for their families.
Any other question?
How do you find a guru?
How do you find a guru?
Yeah, because obviously I'm not a Hare Krishna, and I have certain people that I follow. I don't have I've been told for a few years you need to get a guru. It's it's not a Tinder for gurus, is this?
That would be a good app to develop.
Bit of money there.
Yeah, you could develop an app where you did have. Yeah, it would be handy.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a project we can work on that. First of all, you have to know what you're looking for. Just like if you want to buy a diamond ring, you have to know the difference between glass and diamonds, because you can buy imitation. There's many things which they're not actually diamond, but for someone who's untrained, they'll look at it and they'll think, oh well, that looks like a diamond ring, and you could pay the same amount of money, but if you're not trained, you may not get something which is actually worth what it is. So there are many gurus, and unless you know what you're looking for, the teachings that you're looking for, unless you're learned yourself, you won't understand. So then you'll be cheated, basically, deceived. And there are many gurus who are doing that. We had the big gurus who came out in the 70s, like that. You had Bhagwan Rajneesh, you had Sai Baba. If you know a little bit about gurus, some of you do, you're nodding your heads. The things they were teaching were not actually spiritual. There was some spirituality in there, but in terms of being a pure spiritual teaching, no, it was not pure. But they had thousands of followers. Even to this day, they have thousands of followers. But are the followers getting the ultimate goal of life? So you have to, first of all, you have to understand what is the ultimate goal of life, and then find a guru who can guide you in the ultimate goal of life, as opposed to just whatever that guru happens to be inspired to teach someone. So you need to have the basic knowledge. That's the point. What are you looking for? That's the point. So if you know what you're looking for, if you're learned yourself, then you can find the right person. Like if I'm interested in understanding, to be a mechanic, then I'll go and find out, who teaches the best, who knows the most about mechanics, those kind of things. You learn from that person. So you need to find the person who actually. So first of all, you need to understand what is the truth. What is it you're looking for? And if you understand, then it'll be easy to find the guru. Otherwise, like you said, you just have an app. And every guru will throw themselves on the app. But then you'll get the same as dating. So you want to find a girl. So you get an app, to find a girl, whatever they're called. And then you look up. But then when you meet the people, are they actually, everyone's going to put their best picture on the app. Everyone's going to write the best things about themselves on the app. You don't write, I've got bad breath. You don't write, I snore. You don't write that, I suffer from, different things. You don't write all those things, but that's the reality. So when you're dealing with finding a guru, you need to know what the qualifications are. Because so many people say, I am guru, but do they have the qualification? Do they know the truth? That's the point. Any other points? Yes, madam.
Is there any process or something that makes you a guru?
Yeah, there is. The main thing that makes you the guru is that you must have a guru yourself, and the guru must go back in succession for thousands of years and be connected to what we call a pure tradition. Just like if you see on our altar, then you'll see the gurus going back. Like this goes back 5,000 years. Our tradition goes back. Right? So we have to study, is the guru coming under a guru who is enlightened himself? If the guru themselves are not enlightened, then how will everyone understand the teachings? So, just like, I'll give you an example, like Scientology. Have you heard of Scientology? Yeah, okay. So who founded Scientology? Ron L. Hubbard. Okay, so he was a science fiction writer from the 1950s who decided to start a religion. And the reason they call it's not actually religion, because the definition of religion means it must be connecting you to God. That's the definition of a religion. The reason they call Scientology a religion, because then it becomes tax exempt. That's why they called it a religion. But it's not a religion by definition. So many people follow it, right? But where's the tradition go back to? What's it connected to? How do you know it's true? Right? And some of it, because I know a little bit about Scientology, not a lot, but I know a little bit. I mean, some of the teachings are good teachings, they're helpful. But when you get further and further into it, it becomes more and more obscure or strange. Why is that? Because it's not connected to something pure. So once again, you have to understand what is purity itself. And then you have to make sure the guru is connected to the pure tradition not changing things. People change everything these days. You know, like, you know, we do, you know, I give to Shaden, I'll say something in his ear, Chinese whispers, we all know. You know, how often, you know, when you're a kid, how often did Chinese whispers get around the other side of the classroom and actually come out the same message? You know, when we used to play it at school, I used to change it dramatically. Yeah, because, you know, you want to have fun, so I used to just totally throw it right as much as I could. And then they'd have to work out who it was who threw it right out. And after a while, they realised it was me. I was just throwing it, you know, right out. So, you know, it's good fun, but it's not going to help someone spiritually. It's okay, a bunch of kids having fun in the classroom, but if it's spiritually, then, you know, you just throw your own thing on it. You know, you're just going to give your own version of the truth. You know, you would want to be confident that you're enlightened. And then you have to test the guru. Is the guru enlightened? Are his words and his behaviour the same? Does he actually say what he teaches it, but does he actually practice it? You know, yeah, even the Dalai Lama, you probably heard of the Dalai Lama, is the head of Buddhism. You know, he eats fish these days. The whole teaching of Buddhism is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence, right? So he says he's eating it because he has health problems. So Paul McCartney, yeah, everyone heard of Paul McCartney? Yeah. Paul McCartney and the Dalai Lama are the same age, right? 72 or whatever it is, they're the same age. So Paul McCartney found out that Dalai Lama was eating fish meat. So he wrote to him, you can look on the internet, the letters there, he wrote him a very heavy letter. Really got on his case. What are you doing? You're supposed to be the head of the whole peaceful religion, you're eating meat yourself. And he, you know, it probably wasn't the Dalai Lama who wrote back, it's probably one of his secretaries or something. He wrote back and said, oh, you know, the Lama is just taking it for health reasons. No, that's not an excuse. You know, I've been vegetarian for 30 years, I'm fine. You just have to learn how to eat properly. That's the point. Right, so then if the guru is saying, oh, it's okay to eat meat if you're not... I went to the Buddhist ashram, it's just around the corner here, about 15 minutes away. I went there about 7 years ago to go and visit. You know, and the nun, she took me around and, you know, we had a nice conversation. At the end, I said, are you a vegetarian? And she said, it is good if you can be. That was her answer, it is good if you can be. But she said, more important to be a good person. Right? So already the teachings have become watered down. Right? Because to be a good person means you will look after all of the animals, all the creatures. That's real spirituality. So if the guru is not teaching that, then already the guru is compromised. But people don't know these things. You know, we don't know these things ourselves, and then we think, oh, the guru is telling me, no, you have to know all these things. And then you find a guru is actually teaching those things, they can take you to enlightenment. Otherwise, the guru is not enlightened, you won't become enlightened either. Because, you know, like here at Hare Krishna Valley, we don't kill the cows. We don't kill the kangaroos. We don't kill anything. Right? We keep everything sacred because it is life. It is given by Krishna, by God. So you cannot kill it. That's bad karma. That's against the teachings of the higher power. So then if people are doing those things, then they're not enlightened. So we need to know. So the guru must be connected to a teaching which goes right back and which is unchanged. And that's why our Bhagavad Gita is called Bhagavad. When Prabhupada brought the Bhagavad Gita, called Bhagavad Gita as it is. Why? Because Prabhupada, our founder, he did not put a new version. Just Bhagavad Gita as it is. The way it always has been, we'll give you that. Not Bhagavad Gita as I like. Or Bhagavad Gita for dummies. Or Bhagavad Gita for, you know, just breaking it down. It has to be left as it was. So. Good question. Any other questions?
Are you a guru, or will you become a guru?
Me personally?
Yeah.
There's different types of gurus, as we said in the beginning. So, Shiksha Guru, one who gives us, Shiksha means instruction. So one who teaches us the truth, the enlightened teachings, he is a guru. So on that level you could say, yeah, you could say, oh, you know, I'm a guru on that level. Within our society, within the Hare Krishna movement, there's only 150 what we call initiating gurus or Diksha gurus. So I don't perform that service of being an initiator. You have to go through you have to be voted upon by our higher body within our movement. There's about 30 or 40 senior members, like senior clerics, I suppose you would say. And then they nominate and accept who will become the gurus. So maybe in the future, maybe I might do that, I might not. I'm not sure if, where my path will go. But anyone who teaches us true spirit, that's our guru. So if we're getting enlightenment, if you're sitting here today, because what is my qualification to sit here and speak? I'm not changing anything which has come from my tradition. I don't change it. I don't say, it's okay on Sundays if you have a bit of pork, or it's like the little offshoot of the Hare Krishna movement. A little bit of fish on Saturday is okay, or an oyster on Thursday, or a little glass of beer on Tuesday, or I don't say those things because the teachings are pure. They've been given to me. What's my service or responsibility is simply just to represent that, not change anything. Right? So someone who's doing that, anyone who's doing that, you can say they're guru. They're teaching us like that. That's the definition of guru is one who has knowledge. So even a 3-year-old kid, could be our guru, because sometimes the kid can come up to you and just say something very enlightened. My daughter's 14, sometimes she says things like, wow, that's true. She's my guru. Only in this moment, she's my guru. Not for the rest of the day, but anyone who gives us knowledge. And in the ancient teachings, I run a course in Melbourne on the ancient teachings, and we're about to go into a section where it describes, even in the world, all the animals. Different animals are our gurus. Like the tortoise is a guru. How's the tortoise a guru? Because when there's danger, the tortoise withdraws. So it says that when we go into the world, when there are opportunities for sense gratification or for using your senses to enjoy things in this world which really, according to higher principles, we should not be doing or touching, we should become like a tortoise and withdraw. So like yesterday, I had to go to Warm Pond Shopping Centre, a very holy place. To my daughter needs some new shoes, so we went down there. So we're going through the shopping centre. But when I'm in a situation like that, then I withdraw my senses. I don't go crazy like you see everyone in the shopping centre. It's like I don't know what people do all week. But they go and they're almost like they're frenzied. They got this look in their eye of like, oh, buy this, eat this, touch this, do this. It's like it's like they live there, you can see like their whole week work like a dog, right? Yeah. So on the weekend, as Will Smith, a Hollywood actor, Will Smith says, work hard all week, so on the weekend you can buy things that you don't need to impress people that you don't like. That's kind of the way society is. And I can see all the people in the shopping centre yesterday just walking around just, I've got to get this, I've got to buy this, and what's the point? What is the point? That's not an enlightened existence. So that's the point. The point is that we can't just use this world for material things. And a guru teaches us how to use it for higher things, higher principles. So then all the animals can teach us things. The tortoise can teach us something. It even says the snake can teach us something. All the different creatures, if you study them, they can teach us different things which you can learn about them. So they're our guru on that level. That's a nice question. Any other questions? Madam?
Can you wear things made out of animal skin?
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. According to our team, I don't wear leather. I haven't worn leather for 30 years. So don't wear. Because leather is okay to wear if the cow or the pig or the animal dies naturally. Right? If it just dies, but naturally you didn't kill it, but it just dies, then you can take the skin and everything because it's gone, so there's no harm. But unfortunately in the world these days they don't do that. They kill all the animals and then they use every part of the animal for different things like that. So we should not use things. This is our teachings. We should not use things which are where an animal has been killed. Once a year we have a cow festival, which will be in October. We have about 500 people come, and we honour the cows. It's like a sacred festival that we do. So we have the cow festival, and then one of my daughter's friends from Lawn High School, she came last year for the cow festival, and we were teaching all the things like we're teaching today, and she's been vegetarian since that day. Because when we taught her you shouldn't kill the cows and all that, and when she saw the cows and she was patting them, and like we can, after the feast we can go down if you like to come and visit the cows with us, then it has an effect on people. They understand we should not kill the animals. No need to kill the animals. Like I said, I've been vegetarian for 30 years. Do I look unhealthy? No, I look too healthy. I have my blood tested regularly. Like it's normal. You know, the only thing, I go down to B12 sometimes, so I take B12 supplements to help. But otherwise, you know, these things. Very good question.
My question is, with since it's teachings from a very long time ago and the world has changed a lot.
Yeah.
How do you're talking about clothing just then, wearing leather? Do you have to adapt your teachings for the change? Like, so much is synthetic now, but to process that synthetic, it damages Mother Earth in the process. Does the teachings have to be adapted or should be adapted in some way to have thoughts on that, or do they just say let's wear hemp or let's wear cotton or let's wear stuff that, but even cotton production in some countries is not acceptable because of the damage it does to Mother Earth. So how does your teachings get affected by these changes in modern society?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so you have to know how to adapt things to time, place and circumstance. Basically, you know, the simple answer is everything we do harms the earth. Everything. The world is so, if you trace everything that you purchase, practically these days, not everything, but near most things, yeah, if you go to the shopping centre and you buy any clothes and you track back, as you said, the cotton industry, right? Cotton is, there's a ton of chemicals which are used in the cotton process. And to produce cotton, if you see, you may have understood by looking at YouTube videos and so forth, the amount of process which goes through, yeah, the harm on the earth which is done, it's dramatic. So then you can say leather killing the animals, and it's all damaging at this point in time. So I suppose the answer is we would take the lesser of the two evils. Because practically everything, I mean, God knows, you know, even how they produce this. I buy these clothes in India. But, you know, how they're produced and everything, I mean, unless you get hand-woven stuff, which was Gandhi's principle, you know, go back and start weaving and doing it all yourself, making your own cloth, which is a good way of doing it, but, you know, we're not, at least here, we haven't developed that yet. So they're actually answers. The actual answer of how to solve the problems on the earth, society needs to go back to living in villages, once again. That's how we lived for thousands of years. People lived in villages, and you would eat and grow, and your clothing and your oils and your food just from your local area. And that's how people sustain, and that's sustainable. And as soon as we became industrialized and we stopped living in a village type environment, that's when things began to fall apart. So people want a modern lifestyle, but then, you know, they want to live naturally as well. The two things are not going to work or coexist. America was founded around about 250 years ago. When America was founded, 97% of the population were farmers. Now less than 1% are farmers. People don't want to farm anymore. They want to live these, you know, we want to work in IT, all these meaningful vocations that we've invented for ourselves, and we've gone away from the earth, and then we still want to eat organic food and everything. It doesn't work. You know, people have to be prepared to go back and live simply, but they're not prepared to do that. So you know, we just have to adjust as much as we can. I do buy, I don't wear synthetics myself. You know, I wear cotton or jute or silk or wool or those things. Personally, that's my personal choice. And I don't wear leather and those things. But as much as possible, we should try to live harmoniously with the earth. But even, you know, the cotton I wear, you know, who knows how it was processed? Who knows, how pure it is? Who knows how much damage on the earth it's done? So you just have to choose the lesser of the evils and try to uplift people spiritually. And then gradually, maybe we can have an effect where we can change the earth back to a more natural way of living. But that's going to be very difficult with the momentum that's just taking place now. And people are becoming more and more disconnected and more unrealistic. Everyone wants, everyone talk, climate change and we've got to do more for the earth. People aren't really that serious about it though, to be honest. My house is just there. You're welcome to go and visit it afterwards if you want to come and have a look. It's an eco house. Totally off-grid. You can see it's just across there. Totally off-grid. Right? Made of earth. All the earth was made on mud bricks made from this property. Right? We live there. We catch all our own rainwater. Right? It's all solar powered. Our wood fire heats the house, like keeps the house warm. Dries our washing, which we hang on a rack above it. We cook on the fire when it's going, and it heats the hot water with the wetback going through the fire. So my only bill every year is about $200 for gas, because I use gas when I'm not cooking on fire, then I'll use gas to cook. I don't have any electricity bill, water bill, gas bill, except for the gas which we bring in. So that's sustainable. That's incredibly sustainable. So that's the way that we should live. So everyone says, oh, that's fantastic, but people don't really want to live like that. That's the problem. People think their contribution to climate change is using, those renewable bags at the shopping centre. People really think, oh, I'm changing the earth. That's not changing the earth. That's a good step in the right direction. It's not going to change the earth. People have to drastically change the way they're living, and people don't really want to do that. Just like there's an old man, my wife massages at the osteopathic clinic just down here in Winchelsea, and there's an old man, he's 90 years old, he lives down there. So 50 years ago, when he used to go to Geelong to do his shopping, he went on a horse and cart, right? And it'd take him half a day, a couple of hours to get to Geelong, tie the horses up in the market square, the horse get feed and water and all the rest of it, go off and do, buy his whole foods, his grains and all the rest of it, and then 2 hours to get back. Right? And he said it was a lot better than the way we do it now. I can get to Geelong in half an hour now, but what's the effect on society, on the earth? He never had, a crash in his buggy. Yeah, I mean, when you hear in the old days, people used to smash into each other, the horses, walking along would suddenly collide, It didn't hardly ever happen. Yeah, I mean, of course there's danger in everything, but, if you had to choose. So, we think we've progressed so much. Just like, if you go to Sydney, in Parramatta, if you're in traffic, it takes an hour to get from Parramatta to Sydney, when normally it only takes 20 minutes, but in traffic it'll take an hour. 100 years ago, horse and cart would take an hour to get from Parramatta to Sydney. So where have we progressed? Now we sit in a traffic jam in a car and thinking, we're so much more advanced, but, what is that? I go to India every year, and then when I fly out of India, I fly out of Delhi. And, flying out of Delhi last year, I was in a traffic jam getting to the airport from Brindavan, which is one of our sacred places, and I was going back to Delhi. I was in a traffic jam, there were 12 lanes. 12-lane traffic jam. Insanity. Right? I got sick for 3 weeks just by the amount of pollution's been stuck in that traffic jam. I got back and had this chest thing, wouldn't go for it. Just all the pollution and everything. And this is advancement of society. Everyone's sitting in their cars thinking, we're good now because we're getting like America. We're all, progressing. We're not a third world country anymore. We can drive our cars. We can be stuck in a traffic jam for 2 hours. Like, what sort of a life is this? Very sane, very progressed. So yeah, as much as possible, we try to live naturally. Especially here on the farm, it's a lot easier to do it. We grow a lot of our own veggies, and we can milk our cows when they're giving milk, and it's a lot more natural living here. Living in the city, that's very difficult to live a natural life. And everyone wants, organic milk, and they want organic veggies and that, but it doesn't work like that. You have to come out and do it. We all just want to sit there and just, be on our laptops and everything, just eating our organic cow juices, and it's not reality, and it's not sustainable. I think so. Any other questions? Yeah.
So, when you are teaching outside of it. So me and my girlfriend, we're yoga teachers, and ahimsa, we've changed the interpretation of it to be vegan, and so have a lot of other yoga teachers. And obviously, if I was living the way you guys live with the cows, maybe that would change. But when you're teaching out there, do you suggest a vegan or a vegetarian diet?
Well, 100% has to be vegetarian, and then vegan, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of strength to veganism because of the way the cows are being treated. So, you know, the dairy we're getting is coming from the meat industry, so yeah, that's why a lot of people are vegans. A lot of Hare Krishnas are vegans now, because of that reason. I'm not a
You don't
vegan.
get the access to the sacred milk like you guys are.
There isn't access to the sacred milk. People don't understand, like we've only got 18 cows here.
Right.
There's no one actually milking today. Like in a few months, one of them will be pregnant, there'll be milk. Milk's like a byproduct of the system.
Yeah.
It's not why we keep the cows, just to get the milk. So people think, oh, you know, we keep the cows, all the Hare Krishnas, they're not drinking that, there's not that much of it. You know, the milk is, you know, all the Hare Krishnas have to go out on the land and milk the cows, and then they'll have ahimsa milk. So we haven't got the whole society is not. So yeah, if you're a yoga teacher, you do need to make sure everyone's vegetarian who follows you, because that's uncompromisable. And veganism, if you want to be vegan, yeah, then there's a lot of, you know, support to be like that as well.
But out there being a vegetarian and drinking milk that's come from a cow that's from the meat industry, sure that's himsic.
No, it's not ahimsa. No.
Yeah.
No, ahimsa is only when you get the milk coming from here. That's ahimsa. So yeah, you have to make your choice what you want to do. But yeah, I mean, we have to. That's why so many of the yoga schools are vegan. For that reason. But we have to understand that the milk is not bad, because what's happened with the vegan movement, unfortunately, you know, the vegan movement is very good. But unfortunately what's happened is now they're saying, oh, you know, milk is bad. Milk is not bad, it just has to come from the right source. The cow's the mother.
Yeah.
That's the point. Because, you know, I speak to vegans, sometimes they get very enthusiastic, is a nice way of putting it. You know, why are you drinking the milk? There's like that, but it's not. They don't understand animal husbandry. You know, they think okay, they're vegans, right? So they eat vegetables. Where do you get the vegetables from? The earth. Where do they come from? Farms. How's the farm? With tractors. That's not the system. The system is the bulls should be tilling the earth.
Yeah.
That's natural. But they say, oh no, that's exploitation of animals. It's not exploitation of animals. That's what the animals like to do. Come and work with their bulls. They love working. You know, when they're sitting out in the paddock and they've got nothing to do, they go nuts. Right? It's like human beings. Like, do you like not working? You're not allowed to work anymore. No, you're just a human being. Just be. You know, they say, oh, don't exploit the animals, man. Just let them just walk around, just do whatever they want. Man, they don't like it. You know, the vegans haven't got an answer. That's the problem. I mean, their motive is good.
Vegans.
What's that?
The militant vegans.
The militant, yeah.
Not all of them.
No, not all. That's true. But I met a lot of the militant ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time, the whole vegan society of Geelong came here. 40 of them. That was you can see the recording. It's on YouTube. And it's very interesting. It's like, you know, have you ever seen Muhammad Ali fight George Foreman? Yeah, I'm like Muhammad Ali. I was like on the ropes the whole time. It's like I had 40 vegans going bang, 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 bang. I just had to, like, you know, block it, you know, like
So
that.
you took them down at the end?
I stood my ground. And I said, I respect your opinions. I can see where you're coming from. However, you're not correct on everything. And they don't like that. But I had to say that. You're not correct on everything. You know, because then you don't know what to do with the animals. Right? And then you're just using tractors. Every time you use a tractor, like in India, it's a big problem in India, because now there's so many tractors, you're putting 100 men out of work. Right? And then 100 or 200 bulls out of work. And then, I don't know what to do with the bulls anymore, I can't feed them. Oh, let's kill them. You know, because I can't afford to feed them. So that doesn't work either. They haven't got the answers to the system. So the answer is that we need animal husbandry. That's what we're training our bulls for here. We use a tractor at the moment. We don't use the tractor. That's not the answer. The answer is use the bull. The bulls are the answer. Just like, you know, using your horse to get to Geelong. you know, to go and buy your vegetables. You know, pull up at warm ponds with your horse and cart. And say, I'm going to buy my, you know. That's a better system for many reasons. So you had a point?
I was going to say, don't they sell hymns of milk at the temple in Melbourne?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, and our temple in Melbourne, we have a dairy and we sell our hymns of milk. But we can only produce so much.
Like
we can't produce
$7
enough.
for like a 2 litre bottle as well.
$7 for 2 litres, yeah. It's expensive because milk should be expensive.
It tastes very good though.
It is, yeah, it's good milk. It's good stuff. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, thank you very much. Excellent questions. Thank you for your patience, your time. Very nice to meet you all. Is anyone hungry? Yes. Okay, 3 people hungry, so please go to the next room. Anyone else is not hungry? We have a free magazine here that tells you a lot about the Hare Krishna movement around the world. It gives you a lot of information about philosophy of life, so that's free, so you can just come and grab one if you want one. If you'd like to give a donation for the feast today, just put it in the donation box. We'll go into the next room, which is just there, and then we'll have the feast there. You can eat as much as you want. We always cook a lot. It's all pure vegetarian, vegan food. And then afterwards, if you want to go and visit the cows, then just meet us out here in about half an hour, and then we'll take you down to the other side and we'll go and visit our cows. So thank you for coming. Please come again.